Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to take better photos and videos with the Google Pixel 9 series. Now, I have the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but you could do the same thing with the Pixel 9, Pixel 9 Pro, or Pixel 9 Pro Fold. That name's way too long. All of these features, though, you should be able to do, and this is going to be on how to take the photos and video. If you want a editing video after, let me know in the comments section down below. But for now, let's get started. Today's sponsor is DESLOC. DESLOC makes some high quality smart locks. They sent me the DESLOC B200 and it was very easy to install and upgrade from my current lock. Plus, I love that it takes AA batteries so you can swap them out right away instead of needing to wait for them to charge. I had wanted to put a lock in my studio for a while now, but I do think this would be great for a front door without any hassle, or a back door as well. The thing that really impressed me the most was how many ways you could open the door with their lock. You can use old-fashioned keys, a PIN code, my favorite, a fingerprint scanner, which is the one I use the most. The one I thought was especially great for kids or house guests, a key fob. It does have IP54, so it's no problem in most weather, but I love that the key fob is an easy way to tap and touch, even if the fingerprint scanner or the keypad is wet on a rainy day. Finally, you can unlock it with your smartphone via Bluetooth, or if you get the set, which has an included gateway, this will allow you to remote unlock it when you're out of the house very easily, and the gateway helps you connect to Alexa or Google Home if you want to unlock the door via your voice. It's very competitively priced, and I highly recommend you take a look at the link down below, as sales are known to happen. And now back to the video. Alright, now this is a simple feature, but one that I always like to point out, and that is if you double press the power button, you can actually launch the camera right away. This is always good to know, just so you can quickly and easily launch your camera as needed. It's really important to know that, simple and easy. Second thing is just going to be your basics, so you can tap to focus on something or tap to focus for a macro shot. You can always, of course, just tap these to zoom in or out, or you can slide and go further as well. So you can always do that, and then again, you'll always have your return back to the standard ones after that. From here, if you ever do need to take a quick video as well, all you have to do is hold down the button and you'll have a little recording sign go on. If you want to not have to hold it the whole time, all you have to do is slide to the lock, and bam, there you go. Now you're automatically taking a video, quick and easy. So if you ever need to quickly do a video, that's the simplest way to do it. Now, one of the first things to always take better photos is that both Google, Samsung, and Apple always tend to a little over brighten every photo. Google especially does this. So unless you're in a dark area, I always highly recommend turning the brightness a little bit down. And I'm going to show you the difference with that. So I'm just going to take a photo. There you go. And then for this time, I'm going to actually go to brightness. And just lower that dial a little bit down. So I'll reset it so you guys can kind of see. Reset just a little bit down. Boom. So when we tap it, you'll see both have HDR applied to them, but this one is a little bit brighter. The colors are a little bit washed out. And especially if there is text in like brighter areas, it tends to be a little bit harder to read. And now here, again, still a great shot, but you see the colors around here are less blue, whereas here you can see the blue shades a little bit better. You can definitely see the different colors of red and black here better. And then again, that text is a little bit clearer. So again, just really always a little bit better shot if you just darken it than if you kind of overexpose, which it tends to do. Then we're going to go over the settings on the bottom right here to kind of walk you through what you should kind of turn on, leave on, or anything. So automatic night sight is the way to go, just so you can always get a brighter shot when you need it. Always really important. Top shot is definitely good. I would either have it on auto or just on. I personally prefer on. Basically, if you take photos with kids or pets, this is going to take a lot of photos so that you get that perfect shot no matter what. Fast moving objects, top photos are a really great way to go. Timer, all self-explanatory. Macro focus, I would have it on auto just to always have it. And then typically I shoot with 4x3 when I'm taking regular photos, but little known fact, all my thumbnails are usually shot with a pixel. So when I do that, I go full 16:9, shoot it this way, and makes a lot of thumbnails that you see on this channel. Now, the pro settings, you really don't need to use that often unless you really know about this kind of stuff. Lens selection, raw type photo, and a higher resolution. Only, again, if you really know. Main thing I'll tell you is for the high resolution, you never want to change it unless you happen to be needing a lot of detail and you have a lot of light. Only daytime, definitely, but I would just leave it at 12. Then we're going to go to more settings and just kind of walk you through all of these. So the first one is going to be save location, camera scans, all that kind of stuff. Good to go. Palm is always good, so you can hold your palm like this and it will take a photo. Very easy for selfies and when you're far away. I hated this. I turned it on for a little bit and it just is too annoying. The audio cues are specifically the worst, but if you are visually impaired or don't see very well, this is when it can help you. Otherwise, leave it off. Social share, you can just select all the social media stuff that you typically use, so it will be available to you when ready. After taking a photo, you'll actually see it right on the little share section right here, and you can quickly share with any of these. Button shortcuts, that's just going to be your volume key. Choose what it does. I make it a shutter. Frequent faces is going to be so it knows your faces in Google Photos. Advanced, for all of this kind of stuff, this is what I like to leave it on. I typically don't turn on social media depth, although it would make it look better. It does make you disable Top Shot, so I like Top Shot better. If you do only post to social media and you don't have things like fast moving shots, kids or pets, i.e., then I would basically turn that one on instead. Everything else, just leave the way it is, and that's a good way to go. I do like framing hints to make me know if I'm level, and I do like 3x3 just to make sure you get the aspect ratio really good. I find it very helpful just to guide your shot. This is one of the most important things you always want to leave off. So a lot of phones have this on by default. Turn this off and your text will be legible when you take a selfie. Otherwise, it's going to be flipped and it looks bad, especially when shooting a video. Video stabilization, audio zoom, have those on. I still leave this off because certain video platforms cannot accept it, so that's how I have it. And now, speaking of video, let me show you how to improve your video quality. I'm going to tap right here, and with this, definitely going to be something that you want to change. So first and foremost, I do like to have it at 4K at 60 frames per second, stabilization on. This is going to give you the best resolution, but Google does give you something really nice in the Pro series, which is a video boost to go along with this, which is 4K 60 and HDR. That's essentially the best kind of video quality you can get. Video boost essentially will upload your content and Google can apply its corrections through its servers, which means that basically it's going to be able to do it a lot better than just onboard your phone. Whether it be stabilization, whether it be unblurring things, whatever it needs, it will be able to apply to it. And you usually get it within the next day or later that day. I really like this because when I was doing a vacation, I was able to take a lot of videos with this feature on, and then the next day I would see how they all came out. Now, if you are in a noisy environment and do not have an external mic and you want to vlog, that is the one time when I would say go 30 and then you have speech enhancement on. Otherwise though, honestly, the audio is good on its own, and I would turn 60 on with video boost. So you have HDR and everything is lined up perfectly for the best kind of video quality. Now, one thing you should know about portrait photo is that you can actually unblur or reduce the blur after the fact of taking a photo. So that's always really nice. That's an editing, basically just take it and know that you can actually do it a little bit less blurry later. However, in video for blur, you can actually decide this from the start. So you can actually decide how much blur you're gonna want. I usually recommend doing about 50 or 40. You don't want too much or else it just looks really tacky and fake. So I like to do it around that level and you'll be really satisfied with what you have. Now, if you're ever in a really dark area, that's where you can use night sight video. This will use video boost to help you take a much better video quality. Really good. However, it will keep it at the frame rate you had set it at before, so just keep that in mind. You're going to be good and set with that. So some of the other photo modes are things like Add Me. This one is really fun if you want to be able to take a group shot. Basically, two people can leave or one person can leave, and then the third person can come in and be added to the photo. It combines the two to make one grand photo. I find this okay, but you really need your best photographer to be the one taking the photo, which is kind of tricky, obviously. So it's something that I know when my family tried to do it, they weren't able to on my vacation. So you have to be careful with it. I had some fun with it though. And I created this shot, which was fun just to be able to have, and basically again, stand in one spot, stand in another spot, and then it combined the two. So really fun if you want to just have a cool effect without any kind of editing. Another fun feature for it. Then you have two blurring kind of effect, which is action pan and long exposure. Action pan essentially is if you're moving with the subject and you want to get a cool blur effect. And then long exposure is the same kind of thing, but you're standing still and the object is the only thing moving. So that's the difference. When you go into night sight, one thing you should know is if you specifically want to take really good night photos, tap this section right here and go to max to be able to kind of have the best overall quality for that night area. The darker it is, the higher the number will be. So you can see it went up to 4 seconds just because I covered it up and it's darker. And if it's a brighter area, it won't need that much time. If you have it on a tripod, you can do astro and that will be up to 4 minutes, but you will have a beautiful night sky if you do this. And then when you go into selfie, it's gonna be most of the same stuff, but again, you can go for a wider shot or regular. In your settings over here, you can turn on face retouching. So a little bit is good enough to get rid of some stubble, some little bit of acne, anything like that. The other one will give you a very, very fashion kind of look, I would say. Then if we want to go over to video on the selfie, with this one, you can still take 4K at 60, and you can even turn the screen to a little bright screen if you are taking night selfies. So I really recommend that. Even if it's just a darker area, this will give you better lighting to take a better selfie video. And with that being said, that is all the tips to take better photos and video quality with the Pixel series phones. Hopefully you did find that helpful. Make sure to let me know in the comment section if you did want me to do a full editing on all the AI editing you can do with this phone. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you as always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.
Thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, follow me on social media at YouTube Tech Guy. And check out some more great tech videos on your screen right now.